dear students. This is Mr. Emil. Today we are going to deal with Pygmalion. Pygmalion was written by George Bernard Shaw, 1856-1950. He was an Irish playwright, and also he was the winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature. After those of William Shakespeare, critics think that Shaw's plays are some of the most widely produced in English language theatre. Bernard Shaw was also a dramatist, literary critic, a socialist spokesman, and a leading figure in the 20th century theatre. Shaw was a free thinker, defender of women's rights, and an advocate of equality of income. In 1925, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. Shaw accepted the honor but refused the money. George Bernard Shaw was born in Dublin, where he grew up in something close to genteel poverty. "I'm a typical Irishman. My family came from Yorkshire," Shaw once said. Shaw educated himself at the British Museum. He began his literary career by writing music and drama criticism and novels, including the semi-autobiographical Immaturity, without much success. He carried on a passionate correspondence over the years with Mrs. Patrick Campbell, a widow and actress, who got the starring role in Pygmalion. All the other actresses refused to say the taboo word bloody that the playwright had put in the mouth of Eliza. The Norwegian playwright Henrik Ibsen had a great influence on Shaw's thinking. His unpleasant plays, ideological attacks on the evils of capitalism, and explorations of moral and social problems were followed with more entertaining but as principled productions. Pygmalion was originally written for the actress Mrs. Patrick Campbell. Later, the play became the basis for 2 films and a musical. In his plays, Shaw combined contemporary moral problems with ironic tone and paradoxes. Some of his quotes: "He who can, does. He who cannot, teaches." England and America are 2 countries divided by a common language. During his long career, Shaw wrote over than 50 plays. He continued to write them even in his 90s. George Bernard Shaw died at Ayotte, St. Lawrence, Hertfordshire on November 2nd, 1950. Since the days of the silent films, Shaw had been a fan of motion picture. He also played in the film Rosie Rapture, The Pride of the Beauty, 1940. The film Pygmalion was produced by Pascal and directed by Anthony Asquith and David Lean. Uncredited, was a great success. Pygmalion 1938 is the non-musical film version of George Bernard Shaw's 1912 stage play, a socio-economic drama based on the Cinderella story, but actually taken from the Greek myth of Pygmalion, about a sculptor who fell in love with a marble statue of his own making. Also, My Fair Lady, 1964, was experienced. Director George Cukor's film musical adaptation of George Bernard Shaw's 1912 play Pygmalion that had played successfully on Broadway from March 15th, 1956 to 1962. Shaw's plot was derived from Latin poet Ovid's story about a character named Pygmalion who fell in love with the beautiful ivory statue of woman. In later Greek tradition, his prayers to Venus that the beloved statue, Galatea, would come to life came true, so that they could marry. The play was the basis for the musical play and film My Fair Lady. The play, the stage musical, and the film musical have different endings. Shaw completed Pygmalion and later the same year it was translated into German. This is important because the very first performance was played by English actors in Vienna, Austria, with none other than Mrs. Patrick Campbell as Eliza Doolittle. For example, when asked whether she is walking home, Eliza replies, "Not bloody likely." The actress Mrs. Patrick Campbell, for whom Shaw wrote the role, was thought to risk her career by uttering the line. Thank you for watching. Until we meet again, I wish you the best of luck. Mr. Emil.